is today's pick a card reading. This card reading is specific to financial discipline. So if you're not familiar with the pick a card reading, this is actually a numerology reading. So these are not tarot cards. So you may not be familiar with the cards as I, go through them one by one. But what we're going to do is go through where you actually are focusing in on. This is specific to financial discipline. So you would just kind of I would close my eyes and focus in on specifically on your finances. And then when the time feels right for you, then select one of the cards. And then I'm going to reveal what each of the card meaning is specific to financial discipline. So I'm just going to be silent and give you a chance to just zone everything out. Wherever you are, zone everything out. Even if you're not in a quiet place, you can go into a quiet place inside of yourself, in your mind. Calm yourself. I would breathe, breathe slowly. And a lot of times with finances, it can be really stressful. And a lot of times stress causes rapid breathing. So, slow down, because this is actually going to assist you in starting to work through or work on financial discipline. So this is a good practice in removing some of the emotion attached to money and finances. So breathe slowly. 1, breathe. 2, breathe. 3, breathe. 4, now pick the first card if you have your eyes closed. When you open your the first card that resonates with you, just make a mental note of it or write it down. And then now I'm going to go through each one, A, B, or C for you. So if you picked A, this particular card, now these are numerology cards. These are not tarot cards, so it might seem unfamiliar to you. So this particular card reading, what I do is use a combination of numerology and mystical spirituality specific to West Africa. Some may be familiar with different traditions like Santeria, Candomblé, and other traditions where, maybe handed down from ancestors where their culture stemmed from Africa. So that's where, or specifically West Africa. So that's how I do these particular readings, meaning that I'm looking at the color, I'm looking at the numbers, not just numerology numbers, but there are numbers associated to different angels in a specific West African tradition, a derived tradition. So that's what I'm doing here. So if you hear me reference colors, that's why I'm doing that. So the A, there's a need for not spiritual healing, financial healing. A lot of times when people think of healing, they usually think of the body. They think of, maybe mental illness or some type of physical illness or physical to disease. But there also can be illness dealing with money. A lot of people never really think about that, but some of the choices that are made, and I would say a lot or majority of the choices that are made stem from issues surrounding money, whether there's a poverty mindset, a feeling of lack, of greed, hoarding, a lot of times in relationships, those type of divorces, they say most relationship or marriages end because of financial issues, choices that people make pertaining to career choices, money, whether that be what people consider the worst career choice to the best, like people that choose to go into, let's say, prostitution, or people that become doctors or lawyers. Someone may choose to be a prostitute because they may feel that they have no other choices, and that's their way of being able to survive. Same thing goes with someone, they're choosing that not because it's something that they're good at or something that they enjoy doing. It's something that's based and derived in some other type of emotional issue or something stemming maybe from childhood. And that could happen also for someone that goes into the most prestigious career. Like, let's say, for instance, a doctor or a lawyer. Someone maybe choose to go into those careers because they may want to make a lot of money, or because something as a child, they're trying to compensate for something that maybe they grew up feeling that they weren't, they either one didn't measure up, or a parent made them, kind of steered them in that direction, but it's really not their choice. It's really not something that they chose for themselves. So money and financial issues stem from, a lot of times they stem from childhood, but they don't just have to stem from childhood. A person can go through a bad, they can go through a bad marriage, end in divorce, and then have to make certain choices. Someone can get into a bad deal and make choices related to that. So financial issues stem from a lack of understanding of what actually money is and how it works. So healing, when it has to do with money, first, there has to be a change of the mindset and an understanding of finances and money in our relationship to money, or I should say your relationship to money, for those that selected A, because everybody's not going to select A. Now, for those that selected B, this reading indicates that there is a new beginning on the horizon for you, like a new job, maybe a career change, something dealing with finances, a new home, branching out on your own from a previous deal or partnership, leaving behind a relationship that was maybe draining financially or even mentally, mental abuse issues, financial abuse issues. Again, a lot of times when people think of finances, they don't understand everything that, like that goes with that. Like, let's say, for instance, when I mentioned a healing, sometimes there's needed to be healing related to finances. When people hear of abuse, they usually don't think that of abuse like financial abuse, but there can be people that abuse people regarding money. So a new beginning could be leaving an old pattern behind that stemmed from financial issues related to abusive conditions. That doesn't have to be a relationship, like a romantic relationship. That could be a job, that could be a partnership, that could be somewhere you went to get money, like a loan shark, and that turned into like a catastrophe. So a new beginning indicates that there is a change for you that's beneficial. Now, the second card also reveals those who need to clean up matters before stepping into new beginnings. Okay, and then for those that selected C, it's similar to B, because if you look at these two numbers on the card, the B, that's number 1. On C, and typically in numerology, except for if it's a master number, a karmic debt number, which 10 is not, you would add double digits down to get a single digit. So with the 10, you would reduce that down. You would add the 1 and 0. And what do you get? You get a 1. So B and C are both 1s. So these are both like changes, but 1 is like a new beginning. 10 is C with the 10 on there. This is something ending, but this is something ending that, had a lot of emotion attached to it, that had a lot of stress attached to it, that emotional baggage related to specifically to money is being left behind, moving on, but completing something, let's say a contract, a deal, maybe completing some type of financial relationship. I'm going to go here, and I know this may not be the prettiest picture for some, but let's think about those who enter into relationships with, let's say, a mistress, that enter into a relationship with a man who is spending money on you, but you're not fulfilled. You're not fulfilled outside of the financial. And so that worked for you before, and you were happy with that situation before, but you've reached a point now where you want to move on with your life, whether that be you're seeking something more solid, or you've changed and you've matured and you've changed as a person, and you don't want to be entangled in that type of arrangement any longer. So this particular reading here, even though there's 1 in this B and C, this 1 is a little bit different than the 1 in for B. So even like the example that I just gave for the person that may have been a mistress and decide that this is not working for you any longer, maybe you had all the financial benefits, the person was, buying your car, a house, doing all of these financial things, but you've reached a point where that's no longer satisfying to you. And with this ending, it's like there's like growth. There's like a completion of, like, let's say for instance, like a healing, so these cards are almost similar in a sense, but they're different. Like with A, there is a healing that is needed. So the healing has not occurred yet. With B, there's a new beginning, a new job, a new career, not necessarily anything emotional attached to it per se, or it could be, but not at the level of what this indicates in C. What this indicates, and again, this is specific to finances, is that there is something that is ending, but it's ending with growth. It's ending with like that type of attitude where, people say, I've been there, done that, where you've been through this, this season, this experience several times, many times, and you don't want to experience that any longer. You've come to a different realization about who and what you are, and or maybe you're on some type of a journey that led you to, as lack of better words, epiphany. and you feel as though this entanglement, which really is based on finances, is no longer serving you. Where before you felt like the finances and this relationship was giving you all that you wanted and all that you desired to be happy. Now I'm just getting, with this particular card, I'm just getting the feeling that you have grown. You have grown. I would even use the word leaps and bounds. You've grown leaps and bounds, and you don't want to be involved in this relationship too much longer. It's kind of, when I say that, I'm saying it for a reason. It must be you're making plans, and you're looking at different avenues of being able to look forward without the help of the financial benefits that you were receiving from being a part of this this type of relationship. It served you before, but it's no longer serving your needs for where you're at right now in your life. So hopefully this was helpful. If you need further or deeper understanding or a personalized reading, reach out. There's a link in my bio where you can book a reading, or you can go to my website. It's LakeishaBeeler.com.